Hello, this is actually Editing Jackie here from the future, and I realised that I did not do an intro for this video, so this is my week 2 of Nanowrimo vlog, and my husband Drew and I actually went on holidays in Portugal this week, so it's a bit of both a writing and a travel vlog. So now we're going to go back in time to Geneva Airport last Sunday. So it turns out I misread our departure time. I thought we were leaving at 11:30. Turns out we're leaving at 1:30, so now we're at Geneva Airport 3 hours early. And it's not that big an airport. So we've found a cafe, we're going to get some early lunch and chill for the next few hours. Hello from Porto, Portugal. So my husband and I just landed. We made our way to the metro and discovered it's a 26-minute wait for the next train. So we waited 3 hours at the airport now, 26 minutes for this. Then our Airbnb, it turns out you don't actually get the keys from the Airbnb. You need to pick it up at like some guest services place first and then walk from there. So like all of these are very small problems, and it feels like we've just spent so much of today waiting and I haven't used any of it for writing. And now my laptop's dead because I was editing last week's vlog on the plane. So I guess more Duolingo for 26 minutes. Good morning, it's Monday the 8th of November, so officially week 2 of Nanowrimo, and no, I did not do any writing yesterday, so I'm still at 2,033 words. And unfortunately, I slept terribly last night. I slept for about 4 hours because we got a one-bedroom apartment, but it turns out the door on the bedroom isn't like a proper door, it's like a sliding door, so it does nothing to keep out noise. And Drew and I sleep at different times, so I'll often go to bed like a good 4 hours before he does, and it meant I could hear everything he was doing. Like I could hear him crumpling his potato chip packet. So didn't get to sleep until after 2, was up around 6:20, and I'm seriously considering like getting another Airbnb because we're here for 4 more nights and I need to write. And I can't be wrecked when I go back to work next week, so that's that. The plus side is I have a recommendation for some of the best Portuguese tarts in Porto, so I'm going to pick some of them up now. So what I didn't realise was that we actually have a bakery right like on the ground floor of this building, or the building next door. So I still went like the 500 metres to pick up the recommended ones. But I figured this will be a good baseline and then I can judge all of the other Portuguese tarts against them. So, oh, I should have gotten a plate out for this. This is going to be a flaky mess. Let's see. That's good. So yeah. Off the top of my head, I don't actually remember what the place was called. It does look a bit like a tourist trap, but was recommended by a local, so I'll put the name on the screen here. So if you're in Porto, get these egg tarts from there. Hello and happy Tuesday. It is 8 AM on, what is the day today? The 9th of November, so day 9 of Nanowrimo, and I finally did some writing. So yesterday I didn't end up doing anything. I did some like outlining just based on the ideas I had when I couldn't sleep the night before, but I was just so exhausted yesterday. Like I ended up sleeping about 4 hours and I felt jet lagged. I was so tired and my body was aching, so I'm like, okay, I'm just going to take the day off, because it was almost like that moment in Nice where it was the first day and I thought, okay, I'm going to do videos, and then I was just wiped out. So I'm like, I have 1 week off. I'm back to work tomorrow. I can't afford to spend it getting wiped out. I need to take care of myself. So that was that. But I did work this morning, so I wrote for about an hour and 15 minutes, and I did 1,782 words. So that's not bad. Obviously not on track for Nanowrimo yet, but it's the most I've written since Nanowrimo started, so I'm calling that a win. Ultimately though, I have been rethinking my Nanowrimo goals, and while I would still love to write 50,000 words, and I'm still open to that magically happening, I think the real goal for me is going to be finding a way that I can write consistently with this job, because, you know, if I could write 500 words a day or 500 words 5 days a week, then I'm still making progress, as opposed to working really hard to push out a few thousand words to catch up to my Nanowrimo goal and then being drained for a week after. So yeah, we'll still see how much I can get done in this holiday, but when I get back, I think sustainability is going to be the goal. But since today went well, let's look at updating my stats. So this graph is so depressing. So this is where I should be today, 15,003 words, and I'm still at 2,033 words. So let's add a new update. Yay! And look at that, it goes up just a little itty bitty bit. So now I'm just like 11,000 words behind. I can make that. So today Drew and I are doing like a historical walking tour of Porto. That will go from 10 till 1, and then we've got the afternoon free, after which we might go see, there's a palace down the road, which we might have a look at, or I'm also considering getting a massage because the price of massages here is half what they are in Switzerland, so I should take advantage of that.
Thoughts?
Yum. Hello and happy Wednesday. So I just finished a morning writing session. It is 8:15. I wrote for, I think, 64 minutes and I did 1,621 words. So I'm pretty happy with that because it's better than having no words. But I'm also happy with what I wrote. Basically, anytime I get to have like a scene where I'm obsessing about how beautiful one of these statues is, it's like I can just talk, this girl is so beautiful and look at all of the detail and how did the artisan do it, and the words just come. And I don't know if it's interesting for anyone but me, but I am really enjoying those parts. So I still haven't gotten to the end of the bit that I'd outlined when I couldn't sleep the other night. I've got like basically one conversation left, which I think I'll do later today just because at the moment I do feel like I've run out of a little bit of steam, so I would like to go out for a walk. But the good thing is that I've got a massage booked for 2 p.m. today, and then we've got a food tour at 4 p.m. But before that, there's nothing set in stone. So I think I'll go for a walk. I want to see a bookshop, which the couple of times we've walked past it so far, there's been this massive line to get in. So I'm hoping if I get there as soon as it opens, I won't need to wait in the line. But we'll see. So I'll go for my walk, see the bookshop, and then come back, do a little bit more writing, and then go out, massage, food, and come back and do a bit more writing after that. So I think this will hopefully be a good day in terms of word count, and if not, I definitely want to get the next bit planned out, so that'll set me up for the next couple of days. For now though, let's update my results. And can I just say I'm loving For the Words for getting back into writing. I have used it in the past, but just, in fact, let's turn this back towards myself. So the thing about For the Words is there are lots of different challenges, so you can just like pick a monster and fight it. That's based on either word count or endurance. You can also do the quest, which is like a story, and in the main quest I'm up to a bit where I've got like one monster that's 4,000 words, and I haven't felt like I'm in enough of a flow or had a big enough chunk of stuff to do in a single session to tackle that yet. But for November, because it's Nanowrimo, there are a whole lot of special quests happening. So I've loaded up my quest book to take on all of these different quests, which involve fighting different monsters, and you get rewards for them. And some of the monsters like have bigger word counts, so a couple of thousand, but some of them are really small. And I've got one quest that I've just started where you need to defeat 44 monsters, but it's this monster that's 50 words and it's 5 minutes per battle. So it's really good for just like having something that's really achievable. I know I can always write an extra 50 words and get it done. So yeah, this is a somewhat rambly way of saying this is a good tool and you can set it up so it serves you. And what's serving me at the moment is having these really small word count goals to get out of the way just so I keep writing. Now, back to updating my stats. So 1621. I felt really good today. At home on a laptop. Started at, what time did I start? 7:10, I think. And finished at 8:14. Update progress. So 5,500 words. And if I look at my stats, so 5,500 words or so, I should be at like 16.5. So I'm maintaining being 10,000 words behind, but it is only Wednesday. Like I said, I am planning to write again later today. I still have, after this, another 4 days off work because I've got Thursday, Friday and the weekend. So could I write 10,000 words? It's not even 10,000 words in that time because it's 10,000 plus the 667 words I need to write every day. So let's say that's about 4,200 words a day. Seems like a lot. So maybe I can't write 4,200 words a day, but I think I can stay on track. So I'm very comfortable with that. And I'm very happy to already have 11,000 words in a new manuscript. So I'm waiting for this famous old bookshop to open. It's actually the third time I've tried visiting it in 3 days because the last 2 days we came around lunchtime and the line was just huge. Like I think I've got a clip from a couple of days ago where it went like down the street. So at the moment, it isn't even open yet. We've got maybe another 20 minutes before the store opens and already like the line is a good probably 50, 60 people deep. But I'm probably not going to be back here again for some time, so we're doing this. And something I forgot to say is apparently the reason this is so popular now is because people think that J.K. Rowling got her inspiration here for some of the libraries or the architecture at Harry Potter, and she's actually verified that this isn't the case. Like, what she's written has nothing to do with this, but clearly either they're still capitalizing on it or people still think it is, so hence the line. So that was absolutely gorgeous. I'm so glad I went. I'm so glad I got there before 9:30 because even though like I was waiting for 20 minutes before it opened, once the doors opened, I was in there within like 5 or 6 minutes, so it wasn't that long a wait. Whereas now, like, the queue is huge. So if I'd come later in the day, I probably wouldn't have bothered. But the building's so beautiful. Shame about the number of people, but I can also understand why there are so many people, especially if like Harry Potter has been attached to this. And one of the other things is you do need to pay for a ticket to go in. The basic one is €5, but if you buy a book, that gets taken off the price of the book. So I got this Valley of the Dolls, which I've never read, but it sounds really good. And look at the edges of the pages. I don't know what this is called, but they're all this like deep red-pink color. And I have another book at home with a similar effect. It's Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and that one's actually quite stunning because the cover's red and the edges of the pages are red, and it's just yeah, you look at it and go, wow. And I don't know how much extra it costs for publishers to do that sort of thing, but I see that and I'm like, oh, I really hope like one day I have a book with that sort of finish. Like, I hope one day I have a book with like gold foil on the cover, or the edges of the pages stained. I really should learn what this is called. And yeah, I don't know, it's just something that makes books a little bit special. And I don't tend to read physical books that much anymore because obviously living overseas. So it's just a nice treat to have something new to read, and extra benefit is it's also beautiful. I don't know if you can hear the music. There's like a sort of open air cafe in the park next to me, and they're getting their groove on for the day. So from here, I'm going to head back to the Airbnb and see if Drew's up. And then I think we might check out the Stock Exchange Palace because that looks pretty pretty. It looks like Drew is still in bed, so that means I get to have my very nutritious donut for breakfast and work on some more writing. Oh my god, this is so good. I'm telling you, by the end of this trip, I am not going to have any teeth left because I will have eaten more sugar than most people eat in a lifetime. So I've done about 40 minutes of writing. Drew is up and in the shower, so we're going to head out to the Stock Exchange Palace, which is down the road. And I've done another 1,500 words, so that brings my daily total up to over 3,000. I'm also at the end of the bit that I've planned, so it's time to plan a little more. And when I say the bit that I've planned, like I have done a rough outline for the whole book, but I haven't done an outline scene by scene, so that's what I mean when I'm talking about planning at the moment. I did run into a little problem towards the end of the scene because so Kiara gets home after having been kicked out of the glass workshop by her master because she keeps breaking things because she's distracted, and she discovers other glass girl statues, so she's running through Venice trying to find them, and her brother comes to find her and drags her home because she's like in a bit of a state and not fit to be seen in public. And when she gets home, her father gives her a bit of a lecture, which is, don't get distracted by these statues. They're some prank, no one knows where they came from or who made them, and yet you're working with the greatest glassmaster in Murano. This is a huge opportunity. Not many people get it, much less girls. You've been invited to work with him on the Carnival float, so don't waste this opportunity. And on her side, she's like, yes, but these girls are the best thing I've ever seen. I need to find out who made them. I want to work with the best, and the person who made them is the best. And he's like, don't throw away this opportunity. So they have this argument. It seems to get resolved. And then in my original planning, I wanted to have another argument, which is about the mask that her mother bought her for Carnival. Because in my research, I discovered a type of mask called the muretto, or servetta muta, I think, which means mute servant. And the way it works is it's like a circular velvet mask. It only has eye holes, so no mouth, and it has no straps either, because the way you keep it on is there is a button on the inside of the mask, and the woman wearing it, because only women wear this one, they need to bite down on the button. So while they're wearing the mask, they can't speak, hence the mute servant name. And I find this incredibly insulting, and I am morally opposed to this mask, and I thought it would be fun if the mother chose this mask for her because it's very fashionable, and they had an argument about that. So we've had a little argument about that and how she won't be silenced because she's 15 and teenagers don't want to be silenced, and YA is fun. But I don't think it fits here because we've just had another argument with her dad, so I wrote it just because it was in the plan, and maybe I'll fit it somewhere else, but part of me also thinks maybe I'll just need to cut it and find some other way to talk about this stupid mask. But anyway, 3,000 words in a day is good. Going to update my Nanowrimo stats and go out to the Stock Exchange Palace. Now, unfortunately, it turns out the Stock Exchange Palace is not closed, but booked out for now, so we didn't realize you needed to book in advance, which is very annoying considering you can't actually book on the website. So, we won't be doing that today because it'll run into our other activities. So we're going to do some shopping, maybe pick up some food. And I've been told by my artistic director, Drew, to face this way because there's a very impressive church behind me. The Good morning, it's Thursday. I just spent about an hour writing and got another 1,369 words done. And I'm very curious to see how I feel about this when I reread it, because one, it is quite rough. I've already mentioned there are a lot of gaps due to my lack of knowledge about Renaissance Venice, so there is a lot more filling in than I've had to do with other drafts that I've done, because this is based on a place that I don't know very well, whereas Powerless was in Estonia, so the world building didn't really have to be done so much, like it was set in a world I understood, and even Reciprocal Stalking, which I got to like 30 or 40,000 words before putting it aside, like that was based in New York, which I wouldn't say I know that well, but I've been there a number of times, so it's not like I was starting from scratch, whereas now it's like we go to a room and there's a note, describe room later, or just notes to myself going, find out what this thing is called or if they had this thing, so that's fun. The other thing I'm curious about though is to see whether it feels really self-indulgent, because there's so much, I don't know, just Kiara waxing lyrical about this statue that she's obsessed with, which is fair enough, it's becoming an obsession. I don't know if I'm going overboard though, but I do like writing it. So I continued on from where I was yesterday, where she had the argument with her family and ran out, and then she's gone to see the statue again. And she's just had her moment with the statue. And from here I need to do some more outlining, but I know she needs to go back there a third time, which will happen the next day, and she needs to find a clue to where the whereabouts of its maker is. So that's the next bit I need to outline. As far as our holiday is concerned, this is our last full day in Porto, and while I'm glad we will have the full weekend when we get back to get settled before work, I do wish we had more time, just because I want to write more. Like, I like having time to write and not having to worry about work. I also do have a small freelance thing that I need to get out of the way, and now it's like, do I do that on the trip back tomorrow, or do I keep writing? Like, there might not be enough time to do both, so we'll see. Anyway, today, it is our last full day, but I think we're going to take it fairly easy. We'll try to see the Stock Exchange Palace. I also ended up booking another massage because yesterday's one was so good, and they're so much cheaper here than they are in Switzerland, so I'll be doing that around lunchtime, and then the afternoon's free. So I went out and got our tickets to the Stock Exchange Palace. I got some cash out for the masseuse later this afternoon. Got home, saw that Drew was in his underwear doing Duolingo, so not ready for the day yet. He's now in the shower and it's coming up to midday. But I just saw I had an email and a text from the masseuse saying she'd injured her shoulder and unfortunately can't work today. So now we've got the Stock Exchange tour scheduled for 3:30 and nothing until then. And I don't know like whether we want to try to squeeze in something before then or whether we'll just relax for a bit. I also just made myself an omelette, so like I'm not going to go out and eat lunch. And I know these are very small problems to be complaining about. The good thing is maybe this is some time for some more writing. Hello and happy Saturday. Drew and I are back in Switzerland. We came home yesterday and I'm really surprised at how long a day it was. In fact, as an Australian who used to travel to Europe and the US fairly regularly, I'm a little bit ashamed of how wiped out I was, because we left the Airbnb in Porto at like 9 a.m. local time and got back here between 4 and 4:30, I think. And yeah, I was just exhausted. I was wiped out. So I didn't end up getting any writing done. I did do a little bit of freelance work that had been like on the backlog for a couple of weeks, so that's something. But yeah, I was just so mentally spent. So on Thursday, I actually ended up doing a second writing session and got about 900 words in, which brought me down to only 9,000 words behind. But then of course, yesterday I skipped a day and today I haven't written anything yet. It's already 4:30 p.m. And yeah, I'm at 9,221 words and need to have 21,671 words. So I'm now 12,000 words behind. I still have hope for today. It is not the end of the day yet. I have been really struggling just to get motivated. I don't know, it's strange because on one hand, I'm so glad that we had a holiday and a week off, and I do feel like having the mental break from work was good. But I didn't mention this when I was filming. I really struggled to sleep in the Airbnb. It wasn't really comfortable for two people to be there for several days. It was like the sort of place where you'd probably only want to be there for 1 or 2 days. So yeah, by yesterday, I just had a number of nights without very good sleep. So even today, I'm still feeling a little bit like a zombie. But I spent enough time procrastinating. I've spent enough time doing productive things as well. Like I've cleaned my room, I've been to the gym, and I can't keep putting off working on this book. So I'm going to have a shower to see if I can wake myself up again and then get writing. Ideally, it would be nice to get 2,000 words out today because then I'll be back at only 10,000 words behind. But if I did 800, that'll bring me up to 10,000 drafted in this book for Nanowrimo, which I'd be happy with. So let's see how I go. So I had my shower, I put on a face mask to try and fix this situation that's happening after lack of sleep and too much rich food. And I did nothing for a good hour and a half. And I actually got to the point where I went, okay, clearly it's not going to happen today. Like I was thinking about it, I was trying to do some research, but I just couldn't quite think of what to write in the next bit that made me excited. I was like, she can skip work the next day, go back to see the girl and get a clue. And I was like, it's fine, but I wasn't really feeling excited about it. So I actually said, okay, let's just skip today. It's not going to happen. I might as well just dedicate this full day to rest and then I can do something tomorrow. And then the moment I gave myself permission to rest, I had an idea, which is she skips work, she goes back to the warehouse to see the statue of the girl, and it's gone. And that puts her into this desperate state of mind, like where did she go, who took her, how am I going to find her now? And it's in this desperate search that she finds an engraved plate of glass that tells her she needs to find 3 clues to find the girl and her maker. And what's interesting is that this is the second time this has happened in the last week. In fact, the exact same thing happened when I got to Porto and couldn't sleep for the first night, and I knew what was going to happen next. She was going to go back and visit the girl, and I just wasn't feeling that excited about that. And the random idea I had was, what if she decides she's going to be good, she's not going to go after the girl, and she instead stumbles across one of the other statues that we learned about in the prologue. So it's really interesting how when you give your brain a little bit of time that these new ideas can spark. So all in all, I did 1,422 words, which brings me to 10,643 words. My laptop's down there. So I'm now 11,000 words behind instead of 12,000 words behind, which is better than it was this morning, so that's fine. So from here, like I said, I want to do a little bit of brainstorming and planning for tomorrow. And then tomorrow, I think my big goal is going to be doing enough brainstorming and outlining that'll carry me through the work week, because what I saw last work week was that if I already had something to start with, it was fine, but if I didn't, I just didn't have the time to think of new stuff. So hopefully I can do my thinking for the week tomorrow. It is Sunday night and I've just finished a session that went for almost 2 hours, and I wrote just under 3,000 words, so 2,994 I think. That brings me to 13,637 words, and I'm still about 10,000 words behind. I should be around 23,300. Having said all of that, this week I did do about the amount you're supposed to do for Nanowrimo, so I believe 1,667 words a day for 7 days is like 11,669, and I think I did about 11,600 this week. So if Nanowrimo had started last week, I would be on track. And that's despite having Monday and Friday off, so I'm pretty happy with that. I don't know how I'm going to catch up in the next 2 weeks, but we'll see. Anyway, it's coming up to 7, I need to have dinner, I need to edit this vlog actually, so I'm going to wrap things up here. Please let me know how your nano is going in the comments. If you liked, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and do everything that will keep the gods of YouTube happy, and I will see you next time.